Hello, Patreon friends. It's another session here that I want to talk about, and along with what is happening here. And what I'm talking about here is as aesthetics, or the part of the brain that gets stimulated during a remote viewing when an emotional reaction gets stimulated and the viewer begins to go through a range of emotions. We'll take a quick look at a part of this session here where my brain, part of my brain is stimulated by the input. So this is the target here, which is a fishing town in Suffolk, United Kingdom. So it's this fishing town here. This was the actual feedback photo here. This is another image of the on the water there. It's a fishing town that has been active for about 1,000 years in the UK, where they do their fishing and that kind of thing. So it's a very old fishing town, which as a piece of feedback for what I'm experiencing in this is very important. So this is an area that's been active for a long time. So here I am. I'm going through this session. I'm getting this, the boats and these types of things, and then a part of my brain gets triggered here by the input. And let's take a quick look here.
Lonely, separated.
Let me back that up just a bit.
This is AI. This is conceptual AI, but a longing. Longing. Okay, that's like my first emotional feeling. What does longing mean? A longing means you're waiting, 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 waiting. Kind of lonely. Lonely, separated, separated, separated. Another piece. I'm going through this is idea generation. This is an idea. This is an idea. This is a conceptualization. This is a concept. Conceptualization. Longing, separate, another P. Separated. But how does that deal with this? Like something here feels a longing for this.
I'm working it out here. I'm trying to work it out.
This is giving me either a creative addition or an idea here of being in space. This would be the Earth. That kind of thing.
That was definitely a creative addition.
Missing it. That's really the feeling. Missing it. Wanting to go home, wanting to go back. Wanting to go home. Long way from home. Long way from home. That's kind of the feeling there.
Hang on, because this just reminded me of something. Let me see if I can find it. from Jaws.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed.
This is from Jaws. They're out on the boat, you know. And it's an old fishing song. I just thought that's very interesting.
That's the feeling. A long way from home. A long way from home. What else about this? What else about this? A longing. I'm gonna stick with the aesthetic. A long way from home. Another feeling is tiring. Tiring, you know, like a tiring. Tiring meaning what? Tiring. How can I better?
Hang on, I gotta listen to this again.
I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. Describe. Tiring as in exhaustive. Exhaustive meaning it's like a tiring journey. It's a tiring thing. It's an exhausting endeavor. It's an exhausting endeavor. It's a tiring thing.
All right, I'm going to go back to this in a second, but here I'm working this out. This location, what it represents, whatever state it exists in, is now moving and stimulating into my brain. But what part of my brain is being stimulated? Part of the brain that deals with emotional activity, the hypothalamus. So inside of my brain, let's get a better image. Right here, this part of my brain is being stimulated. Aesthetic definition is a noun, particular theory or conception of beauty or art, a particular taste for or approach to what is pleasing to the senses, and especially sight. So let me look at this up. Did I spell that right? Vision process of the brain. Let's do this. Visual information. The visual cortex. Oop, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do images. Let's get a better one here. Visual cortex. Back here, visual cortex. And the hypothalamus here, so the visual cortex should be here. So these two, I could then assess that in my brain, my hypothalamus is being stimulated and my visual cortex is being stimulated as well. That's my assessment based on the definition of an aesthetic. Though right here, I'm dealing with an emotion. So my hypothalamus is reacting or responding. It's sending out other information into other parts of my brain that allow me to translate this feeling, which is lonely, longing, separated, away from home, and what that feels like. And here, I go into a deeper description of it here in a second.
Wanting to go back home, a long way from home.
Long way from home.
It's like an exhaustive journey.
This is all based off of an emotion. And that's one of the, what I like about the process, what's fascinating to me about the process is the emotional responses in the brain that once they're stimulated, this is what I'm experimenting with here. What processes in my brain are being stimulated, and when they do get stimulated, I want to explore the stimulation and describe the stimulation. That was a process. That's what I did this session for, was to get that and explore that more. As I'm going through the process, in my opinion, something's happened that signal, or whatever state that location exists in time and space, but it made its way, stimulated my hypothalamus to trigger an emotional response. And I am now translating that emotional response into all of this data right here.
It's an exhaustive journey. Yeah. Longing, exhaustive journey. You know, like no rest. No rest, no rest. No rest. Yeah. But that feeling, there's something about it, something else that I don't like. I don't like, I don't like the feeling here either.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Exhaustive journey, no rest, long way from home. The feeling of separation. Feeling of separation. Feeling of separation. That's the feeling. This is the feeling that I don't like. There's fear in there. There's fear. What is the fear of? Fear of not getting home, so to speak. Fear of not getting back. Fear of not seeing loved ones again. Lost time. Lost time. Like if a father goes off to work and he's gone for 5 years, you know, like he's on a ship or something like that, and then he comes back.
There you go. This is the feeling, and I was able to translate it correctly here. The aesthetic, or the emotion, which isn't really beauty, so I'm not sure about this definition, There's another definition too where it includes the the beauty and the not so beauty as well. But the pure emotion here is one of longing, and it was translating in my mind here, as my hypothalamus was stimulated, was like someone away on a ship for long periods of time and longing to come home. Just like, funny enough, to think of this scene from the movie Jaws.
The way to go home. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed.
Funny enough. So this is what I'm thinking is happening right here. My hypothalamus is stimulated by an input. Somehow that somewhere else in our brain, where we are able to receive these impulses from the input, somewhere in here, I don't know where, but then it delivers information to the hypothalamus if we're having an emotional response, and then to other areas of the brain here, like maybe here, the visual cortex, to stimulate the other types of aesthetic impacts as well, translating it here too. But where in this brain is the input received? Where is it in this brain where the input is received? I'm thinking it's how close right here to the pituitary gland, which many people have said for a long time that the pituitary gland deals with these types of things. Maybe the spark of our consciousness exists inside of there. It's so close to it, maybe that's how we get it doesn't have to travel very far in order for those things to be impacted. I'm not sure. I'm hypothesizing about the hypothalamus here. But this is a pretty interesting example of it. I'm blind, of course, to this target. I'm working my way through it until, in my opinion, my hypothalamus is stimulated and I recognize the stimulation and I go through the process of translating that stimulation. That was the whole purpose of these sessions. So that's about it for this one. Oh boy, I think I got to sneeze. So I hope you find that I hope you find it as interesting as I find it, and I think this was funny. I just thought of this right here as I was watching myself go through this process here. So I hope you find it interesting, and many more to come.